Yeah. 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 Welcome to Beyond the Block, everything crypto. Welcome to Beyond the Block, everything crypto.
All right, so we're diving into some pretty big news in the crypto world. Ripple's stablecoin, RLUSD, just got the green light from the NYDFS.
The New York Department of Financial Services.
That's the one. And this is a big deal, right? Because New York, they're not exactly known for being lenient with regulations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this approval was unexpected, to say the least. Remember all that talk about unexpected developments causing a delay? A lot of folks were skeptical.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a long shot. So this approval from NYDFS, it really throws a wrench into the whole stablecoin landscape, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. But before we get into all that, maybe we should take a step back for anyone listening who might be new to this whole thing. What exactly is a stablecoin?
Yeah, good point. It's easy to get lost in the jargon sometimes.
Right. Well, in the simplest terms, a stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency that's designed to, well, be stable. It's usually pegged to a stable asset, like the US dollar, to minimize those crazy price swings we see with, Bitcoin and all that.
So RLUSD is pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar then.
Exactly, which makes it, more appealing for everyday transactions.
Okay, that makes sense. But why are stablecoins such a big deal, especially in the crypto world? I mean, isn't the whole point of crypto to be, decentralized and free from traditional financial systems?
That's a good question. And you're right, that is the core philosophy behind crypto. But here's the thing. Crypto, as it stands now, is notoriously volatile. One minute you're up, the next you're down. And that volatility makes it really difficult to use crypto for, everyday purchases or transactions.
You're not going to want to buy groceries with something that could lose half its value overnight.
Exactly. So stablecoins, they kind of offer a bridge between the traditional financial world and the crypto world. You can enter the crypto market without riding that roller coaster. And because they're pegged to a stable asset, they're much more practical for things like, online payments or even international money transfers.
So it's like having the best of both worlds then. The potential of crypto without the nail-biting price fluctuations.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so getting back to RLUSD and this whole NYDFS approval, one of the articles we've got here, it claims that RLUSD could reach a market cap of, get this, $2 trillion by 2028. Is that realistic? That's a crazy amount of money.
$2 trillion, that's a staggering number. We're talking about, the size of Apple's market cap. To get to that level, we need to see massive adoption, not just from individuals, but from institutions too.
So is Ripple basically betting on becoming the go-to stablecoin for banks and big financial players?
It seems that way. They're definitely targeting institutional investors, and this regulatory approval, it gives them a huge edge.
Yeah.
New York sets a precedent. If they've given RLUSD the thumbs up, other states and regulators are more likely to follow suit.
Okay, so they've got the regulatory advantage. But they're not the only ones in the stablecoin game, right?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, you've got Tether's USDT and Circle's USDC. Those are the big players right now. They've been around for a while, and they've got a much larger market share. And then there are the newer entrants like PayPal's PYUSD, Athena's USD.
It's a crowded field. So how are all these different stablecoins, how are they competing?
Well, one thing we're seeing a lot of is these incentive programs. Like Athena, they're offering users a high annual percentage yield on their USD holdings. It's all about attracting users and building a user base.
It's like a stablecoin showdown.
Yeah, kind of. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And it reminds me actually of something Andrei Geek was talking about in his YouTube video. He was analyzing Ripple's strategy, and he made a really good point about how banks, when they're dealing with large sums of money, they tend to go for the safest, most regulated option.
Right. He said something like, if you're a bank, most banks will go with option number 1. And he was talking about RLUSD.
Exactly. And that makes sense. Banks, they're not going to gamble with their money. They need that assurance of stability and compliance.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's been thinking about dipping their toes into crypto, but are maybe a little hesitant about the risk, a regulated stablecoin like RLUSD, that might be a good way to start.
Yeah, I think so. It's a way to get exposure to the crypto world without, having to worry about your investment disappearing overnight.
So RLUSD, it's all about playing it safe. But Ripple, they've also been making some moves that are a little bit, a little bit more controversial.
Oh, you mean their donation to Fairshake?
That's the one.
Yeah.
$25 million to a pro-crypto PAC. It makes you wonder, are they trying to influence regulations in their favor?
Well, it definitely raises questions about their political motivations. I mean, there's no denying that regulatory clarity is crucial for the crypto industry as a whole.
Right. Everyone's been waiting for the government to figure out how to regulate this whole thing.
Exactly. And Ripple's donation, you could see it as them trying to, nudge things in a direction that's favorable to them. But on the other hand, you could also argue that they're just trying to ensure that the regulations that do get put in place are, clear and consistent, which would benefit everyone in the crypto space.
It's almost like they're playing the long game, right? Investing in both technology and political influence to pave the way for broader crypto adoption.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. They're not just building a product, they're trying to build an entire ecosystem.
And this whole push for XRP ETFs, that fits into that strategy too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Exchange-traded funds based on XRP that would allow traditional investors to get exposure to XRP without, actually having to hold the cryptocurrency directly. It's another way to bridge that gap between traditional finance and the crypto world.
It's like they see these two worlds eventually merging.
Exactly. And, it's funny because that reminds me of something Andre Geek said in his video. He asked this really interesting question. What if cryptocurrencies are like stocks for the fundamental building blocks of the future financial system?
Whoa, that's a pretty mind-blowing thought.
Yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it? Like, what if owning a certain cryptocurrency is like owning a piece of the infrastructure that powers global finance? It's a bold idea.
And Ripple, with all their focus on compliance and real-world use cases, they seem to be positioning themselves to be, major players in that future.
For sure. And their compliance with those global financial standards, that's a key part of their strategy. They're aligned with ISO 2022.
ISO 2022?
Yeah, it's a standard, like a universal language for international banking. If a financial institution wants to play on the global stage, they need to speak ISO 2022. And Ripple, thanks to their on-demand liquidity system, they're fluent.
On-demand liquidity. That's their system that uses XRP as a bridge currency, right?
That's the one. It's their solution for cross-border payments. Traditionally, banks would need to pre-fund accounts in foreign currencies to facilitate international transfers. It ties up a lot of capital, makes the whole process really slow. But with on-demand liquidity, they can use XRP to transfer funds instantly across borders. No pre-funding needed.
So it's like having a universal translator for money.
Exactly. It cuts out the middleman, makes everything much faster and more efficient.
This could be huge for international payments, especially as the world becomes more and more interconnected.
It could be revolutionary. And by aligning themselves with these global standards, Ripple is essentially positioning themselves to be, a key player in the future of finance, even if that future includes, central bank digital currencies.
CBDCs. It seems like Ripple is keeping their options open. They're not just betting on one specific vision of the future, they're hedging their bets.
They're adaptable. They're not limiting themselves to one specific technology or asset. They're building a versatile platform that can adapt to, whatever the financial landscape throws at them.
And all of this ties back to XRP, their core asset.
That's right. Andre Geek, in his video, he highlighted a few potential drivers of XRP's value. Regulatory compliance, real-world use cases like on-demand liquidity, the limited supply of XRP.
He mentioned that Ripple holds a significant portion of XRP in escrow, right? And they're gradually releasing it into circulation.
Exactly. It's a way to control the supply, which could potentially drive up the price.
All of this sounds incredibly promising. But as Andrew Jake also pointed out, and it's important to remember, this is all speculation. We're talking about emerging technologies, a rapidly evolving financial landscape. There are no guarantees.
That's the nature of the crypto world. It's exciting, it's full of potential, but it's also inherently risky.
Absolutely. But the possibilities, they're definitely exciting.
They are, that's for sure. It really is exciting, all this potential. We were just talking about Ripple's strategy, bringing traditional finance and crypto closer together. And this whole RLUSD approval, it seems like a big step in that direction.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That stamp of approval from NYDFS, it gives RLUSD a lot of credibility, especially for those big institutional investors who might still be a little wary of crypto.
Exactly. Think about it from their point of view, right? They need that reassurance. They need to know that things are being done by the book. That regulatory compliance, it minimizes their risk, makes RLUSD a much safer bet compared to some of those other stablecoins out there.
It's like, I don't know, like choosing a well-established bank with FDIC insurance over, like, stashing your cash under your mattress.
That's a perfect analogy. That sense of security, that's what's going to attract those big players. And remember those predictions about RLUSD hitting a $2 trillion market cap? That kind of growth, it's going to require serious institutional adoption.
And wouldn't that have a ripple effect, no pun intended, on the entire crypto ecosystem? More institutional money flowing in, that usually brings more legitimacy, more stability.
Absolutely. It can also lead to the development of all sorts of new financial products and services, further blurring the lines between traditional finance and crypto.
So if Ripple can really pull this off, if they can attract all that institutional money with RLUSD, could it actually pave the way for a more integrated financial future? One where crypto just fits right in alongside traditional assets?
That's exactly the idea. And, if we zoom out a bit and look at the big picture, this convergence is happening on multiple fronts. Central banks are experimenting with CBDCs. You've got traditional payment providers like PayPal getting into crypto. Institutional investors are cautiously dipping their toes in.
It feels like everyone's starting to realize that something big is happening, like a paradigm shift in how we think about money, how we use money.
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of that. And Ripple, with their focus on compliance, on those real-world use cases, on building partnerships, they're positioning themselves to be right at the forefront of this whole shift.
We talked about their political contributions earlier, that $25 million donation to Fairshake, that pro-crypto PAC. It's definitely a controversial move, but it shows that they're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. They're actively trying to shape the regulatory landscape.
And whether you agree with their approach or not, it demonstrates a certain level of commitment, to creating a more favorable environment for crypto adoption.
It's like they're playing a long game, investing in technology and political influence, all with the goal of building a future where crypto isn't just some alternative to traditional finance, but an integral part of it.
Right. And that brings us back to that question that Andre Cheek posed in his video, remember? What if cryptocurrencies are like stocks, but stocks for the underlying technologies of the future financial system? If that's true, then Ripple, with their focus on XRP and all those related technologies like on-demand liquidity, they could be in a really powerful position.
It's a mind-blowing concept. To
Yeah.
think that owning XRP could be like owning a piece of the infrastructure that powers global finance.
It's still early days, of course. It's all speculation at this point. But the potential is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if that specific vision doesn't pan out exactly as we imagine it, the underlying trends, the move towards digitization, decentralization, global interconnectivity, those are all real.
They are, and they're not going away. So regardless of which specific technologies or companies end up dominating, the financial landscape is definitely undergoing a massive transformation.
It's an exciting time to be witnessing all of this. And as we move forward, it's going to be crucial to stay informed, to be critical, to be open to new ideas.
Couldn't agree more. We need to be prepared for a future where the lines between traditional finance and crypto continue to blur, where the possibilities are endless.
So we've been talking about Ripple, RLUSD, this whole grand plan of theirs.
Yeah, this whole bridge they're trying to build between traditional finance and crypto.
A bridge made of stablecoins.
Exactly. And, if it works, if they can convince those big institutions to walk across that bridge.
It could open up the floodgates.
Oh, yeah, a flood of institutional money flowing into the crypto space. That would be huge. More stability, more innovation. The whole ecosystem could benefit.
But bridges can be shaky sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of unknowns, a lot of potential roadblocks for Ripple.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first of all, you've got the competition. Tether and Circle, they're not just going to sit back and watch Ripple take over.
They're the 800-pound gorillas in the stablecoin market.
Right. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape. I mean, let's be real, governments are still trying to figure out how to deal with crypto. One wrong move, one regulatory crackdown, and Ripple's whole strategy could crumble.
And let's not forget the elephant in the room.
Volatility?
Yeah. I mean, even with a stablecoin like RLUSD, there's always that underlying risk. Unforeseen events, market manipulation, things can change quickly in the crypto world.
That's the nature of the beast, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So while the future looks pretty bright for Ripple and for crypto in general, it's important to stay grounded.
Absolutely. Don't get swept up in the hype. Do your research, understand the risks, and don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't let fear hold you back. The financial world is changing. It's evolving right before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And those who are willing to adapt, to embrace these new technologies, they can see some pretty incredible rewards.
No doubt about it. This is a financial revolution, and it's happening right now.
It is. And maybe, just maybe, Ripple's vision, This idea of a seamless integration between traditional finance and crypto, maybe it's not so far-fetched after all.
Stranger things have happened. It's a fascinating thought experiment. If Ripple pulls it off, what happens next? How does this change the world? How does it change our lives?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. And if you're looking for even more insights into the world of crypto, be sure to check out Beyond the Block Crypto podcast. They got all the latest news and in-depth analysis to keep you up to date. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those curiosity engines running.